She hired a private investigator to prove her husband was cheating. The investigator found the proof and then filmed what happened next. This is the true story of Clara and David Harris and the Valentine's Day marriage that ended in a hotel parking lot. Clara Suarez was a Colombian immigrant who had built an extraordinary life in Texas. She was a dentist, a beauty queen crowned Mrs. Columbia Houston, and on February 14, 1992, she married David Harris at the Nassau Bay Hilton. It was Valentine's Day, the perfect day for what seemed like a perfect couple. Together, they built an empire. David was an orthodontist, and they owned a chain of dental offices across the Houston area. They had an upscale home in Friendswood, Texas. And in 1998, they welcomed twin boys, Brian and Bradley. With David's daughter, Lindsay, from a previous marriage, they were a family of 5. Life was good. But behind the success, something was breaking. David began an affair with his former receptionist, Gail Bridges. The whispers started at the office. Staff knew. Colleagues knew. Eventually, even his 16-year-old daughter, Lindsay, knew. The only person who didn't know was Clara. When Clara finally found out in the summer of 2002, she was devastated. She confronted David. He admitted to the affair, but promised to end it. He told his family he had felt neglected after the twins were born. He said he wanted to save the marriage. Clara wanted to believe him. But Clara wasn't taking any chances. On July 23, 2002, she hired a private detective agency to follow David. He had told her he needed to meet Gail one last time, face to face, to end things properly. Clara wanted proof that he actually would.
The next evening, July 24th, the private investigator called Clara. David wasn't ending anything. He was at the Hilton Hotel in Nassau Bay with Gail Bridges, the same hotel where Clara and David had been married 10 years earlier, on Valentine's Day. That detail alone would have broken anyone. Clara raced to the hotel with Lindsay in the car. She stormed inside and found David with Gail. A violent confrontation erupted in the lobby. Clara attacked Gail, tearing her shirt. Hotel security stepped in and escorted Clara back out to her silver Mercedes in the parking lot. What happened next was captured on video by the very private investigator Clara had hired. David and Gail walked out of the hotel. Clara was behind the wheel of her Mercedes. Lindsay, David's 16-year-old daughter, was sitting in the passenger seat. Clara floored it. The Mercedes slammed into David, sending him flying 25 feet across the parking lot. But Clara didn't stop. She crossed 2 grassy medians, circled back, and ran over his body again and again. Lindsay was screaming from the passenger seat, begging her to stop. Eyewitnesses watched in horror. The private investigator's camera recorded everything. David Harris was pronounced dead at the scene. He was 44 years old. Clara was charged with murder. Her trial began in February 2003, and it gripped the nation. The prosecution played the private investigator's videotape for the jury. They played a recording of Clara telling police she had wanted to hurt David. Lindsay took the stand and testified against her own stepmother. Clara's defense argued it was a single impact, not multiple. They said she never saw David in the road. They called it a tragic accident born from sudden passion, not premeditated murder. At one point, Clara's defense attorney collapsed from the stress of the trial, and the court had to recess. On February 14, 2003, the jury delivered its verdict: guilty. And the date of sentencing? February 14th, Valentine's Day. The same date she had married David at that very same hotel 11 years earlier. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison, the maximum allowed under Texas's sudden passion ruling, and fined $10,000.
Clara was sent to the Mountain View unit in Gatesville, Texas. Behind bars, she converted school textbooks to Braille for blind students. Her twin sons visited about once a month. After 15 years, she was granted parole in 2017 and released on May 11, 2018. Her parole supervision ended in February 2023. She hired someone to catch a cheater. Instead, they caught a killing. And it all happened at the place where the fairy tale began.